Taking Heart, Finding Our Way Together, the podcast of the International Students' Conference 2024. Wow, it has been 4 weeks now since the conference took place. 1 month ago today was April 12th, Friday, the day of preparation. For all of you who are new here, I am Noel, and I've been running this podcast about the International Students Conference this year for 3 months. Now it's finally time for another podcast episode, this time from a retrospective perspective. But the view into the future has grown even further since the conference, where many seeds were planted that will blossom in the future: projects, initiatives, conferences, friendships. A post-conference newsletter is now also coming, which should be very important for all of you, because it will also include the photos from the ISC. So please check out your email inboxes. Maybe you also found out about this podcast through this newsletter. That would be even better. Today I'm talking to a participant of the conference. So today I'm sitting in the Zoom room of the podcast with my guest Charlie, who attended the ISC, and I want to welcome you warmly and would love if you just shortly introduced yourself. So you're Charlie, and where you're from, how old are you?
I'm from the Philippines, but I moved to New Zealand 2 years ago. So I'm studying in New Zealand. I'll be graduating this December. I'm currently 18 years old, and I am working towards hopefully getting into film school afterwards.
You're living in New Zealand. That is also why in your in your time zone it might be half past 3. And for me, it is 5:30 in the morning. And
Yes,
I hear the birds starting to sing outside. It's very nice, the sun coming. But wow, you made all the way from New Zealand to Dornach to come to this conference that just ended. And for me, this feels incredible because we have been working on the conference for many months. It's been kind of a year of preparation work, and then people actually came. They came from countries so far away. And
mm,
no, for me, it is crazy. This is such a long journey from New Zealand to Switzerland. Such a lot of work, and I remember talking about yours, like really your visa application, because we were in email
oh,
contact.
yeah.
And it wasn't the most complicated one. It was okay, but
Mm,
every individual had a lot of work to do in order to come here. And
yes.
how did you make the decision to take on all of this work?
Well, so 5 years ago, my older brother, he graduated in 2020. He and his class from the Manila Waldorf School in the Philippines, they attended the conference. I don't know what the theme of that one was, but that was around the same time. I believe it was also April, and it was when he came back from his trip. It was like the happiest I'd seen him in a very long time, and
Oh,
he didn't want to spoil his experiences at the conference, but he was so enthusiastic about it, and he was so excited for me to go and me to experience what this kind of collection of different people is like, especially with all of their different like origins. And ever since then, it's kind of been just like a general life goal for me to attend. And now that it's over, I understand why he felt the way that he did, because there's just something about the conference that's so fulfilling and like awesome.
wow. This is big words. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing it. It sounds great. So, sorry, I didn't get it. When did your brother attend the ISC?
My my brother attended in 2019,
Oh, okay.
so it was the
2019.
last
Yeah.
one before lockdown.
Yeah. This conference dealt with the topic of courage.
Yes. I hadn't
which
seen
is
in my head.
yeah, it is. Funnily enough, it is closely connected to the heart as well, just like our topic is. And the conference that took place in 2021, which was only digitally, um, it also dealt with the topic of trust, which is also connected to the heart. When you ask me, it's closely connected. So when we gathered together to find a conference topic for this conference, we really did not look at past conferences and thought, oh, they dealt with the topic of the heart. And in a sense, we will do the same thing. It was just
Mhm.
looking into the youth and trying to figure out what they would appreciate to talk about. And it would be great to get some feedback from you as a participant, how you felt about the topic. Um, of course, for us, the organizing team, it was kind of clear that it is this topic, and we've been working with it for so long, and maybe our perspective on it changed. And I'm super interested in how it actually turned out during the conference and how it landed at the community.
I think, especially the subtitle of it, of Finding Our Way Together, definitely landed, at least with me. Yes. And it was, it definitely, during the event, you could tell that the entire youth section poured their entire heart and souls into organizing it. And it was just like the theme very much carried on into how people talk to each other as well.
Of course, it is a wide range topic. We could talk about biodynamics, about economics, about spirituality in this sense, what we tried to do during the interactive contributions. Um, so it is really not easy to grasp. We have to find it in ourselves to deal with it. Well, the craziest part about the conference when I look back is that, especially what you were saying just now, it wasn't an experience that was passed on to you by someone else. I mean, there was your brother telling you about the
Mhm,
conference and how much he liked it. But then so many individuals who came to the conference came for the first time, you know?
mhm,
It's not that they attended another ISC, already got into the water, and then came again and knew what to expect. They all came not really knowing what to expect.
mhm,
And then it began to shape as a conference community from so many people who didn't know what to expect and made it totally their own thing. And
mhm.
that is really nothing we can prepare as an organizing team. It has to happen itself. And it was beautiful to watch. And I can thank you as a participant for being part of that process.
Well, we have nobody else to thank but the youth section because we there wouldn't be one without you guys, obviously. And we do have to thank you so much for all of your hard work and your preparation for it.
It is funny. I saw a photo of a t-shirt on Facebook,
Yes.
and then I saw it is your t-shirt that many people signed.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes. 1 second. Let me grab it, actually.
Yeah. Wow. So many names on it.
Now,
Crazy.
yeah, absolutely. I haven't counted how many signatures are on this t-shirt, but this is the front, this is the back,
Yeah, nice.
and there are some as well on the inner parts
Hmm.
of the shirt,
Oh,
and
Miguel.
and a lot on the tops of the sleeves as well.
Uh-huh. I can see.
And it
Looks
was so
beautiful.
fun to get it. Oh yes, absolutely. This was actually also inspired by my older brother
Hmm.
because there was a Southeast Asian conference in 2018, I believe, that he attended with his class as well. And he had the same idea of going around the conference wearing a white shirt and asking people to sign it. His was mostly in black, though. and I found in Basel, I found a pack of multicolored markers
Oh, that is how you
in
did
just
it.
a random
Nice.
co-op. Yes. And I just bought it and brought it along because I
Oh,
thought
great.
my older brother was right when he framed it. Because this is a one of a kind souvenir.
Yes,
And I
that
have a
is right.
few people from the youth section also who signed it. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah,
But
I
I know I
just
have,
saw. Yeah, I saw the name of Golda being on it. He
yeah,
was
and I
part
have
of the.
Nathaniel on here as well.
Oh, great.
Ah, there he is. Yeah, it's awesome. It's
Um,
something I will cherish.
you mentioned you found the colored pens in Basel. Was it during the pageant parade or was it
No,
before?
it
Okay,
was before that because so my journey to Europe began in Milan, where I stayed from April 1 to 5. And on April 5, we, as a group, me and the students from Manila Waldorf School, we moved to Basel in Switzerland. And during that time is when I got the markers for that. And that was until the 10th. And then from 10 to 14, of course, we were in Dornap for the conference. And then on the 15th, I flew out.
I see. So you already started well prepared with everything.
Oh, yeah, I brought this all the way from here in Auckland.
Oh, great. So your plan
And
worked out pretty well.
yes, absolutely. And funnily enough, this shirt is too big for me, so I do think this actually used to belong to my older brother.
Yeah, it might be.
So it all comes full circle.
Yeah. I just looked at this white shirt and then thought about the pageant parade, and it is maybe it's like a nice picture for it to have a white flag or a white vest or a white shirt. It is always, I
Mhm.
mean, the white dove flying in the sky, it's always this peace sign. And to walk around with a white shirt is something, but then walking around with a white shirt and want people to sign the white shirt is even a better thing. And now it's a
Mhm.
colored thing. How did you experience this in
Mhm.
Basel? I heard many people also jumped into the river, what I didn't know. Had a nice time. I don't know, did you?
Me personally, I was mostly sticking with the people from my workshop, the storytelling workshop. And we, after the parade, nobody in our group wanted to miss our train. So I didn't know actually until just now that people were jumping into the river. But it sounds like it was fun, especially because it was at that point, it was like 20 something degrees.
26,
And
27, it was crazy hot.
yeah, oh my goodness, especially for Switzerland, that's crazy. And it's only spring. But
Oh yeah.
that sounds like it was awesome. But I think all we did was a storytelling workshop. We kind of split up into smaller groups, but we were just walking around Basel, down the one street that had the shops. I don't know. I forgot what it's called, but we went there and we bought ice cream, and we went back to the train station.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of time really. I mean,
Mm.
also the journey to Basel and the journey back, they already took some time. And I tell you, I am so amazed by how this worked out. So many
Oh yeah,
people
those.
taking the right train, not being lost in Basel, everybody getting back. I felt a lot of tension because I kind of tried to prepare all those trains and came up with this not so easy organization idea for it. But in the
Yeah,
end, people were super self-confident, just doing it, knowing when to go where. Very good experience from an organizational perspective. And, I also didn't know that people jumped into the river until, I don't know, a week after the conference, when we met in a big circle in the Gutian with other people from other sections and kind of reflecting just 5 minutes on the conference.
mm.
And some of the others were in Basel visiting the pageant play. And then they told us,
It's definitely the reckless energy of the youth that compelled them to do that.
oh, yeah, do you have a favorite moment?
Do I have a favorite moment? Let me see. Because I think because oh on the third night, they had the night cafes. Yes,
Yeah.
I was at the dancing one, and the thing is, it was a bit difficult for that particular night cafe because there was a period where we didn't have access to a speaker.
I know.
So yeah, we were sitting around there just either in silence or with the guy with the bagpipe
Oh
who came
yeah.
in for a while after, and he just started playing. And so for a couple minutes, there were people who were dancing to the bagpipe, and then when we did get the speaker in, we had like a few folk dances, and right before the bus, because I was staying at the castle in Mariestein.
Hmm.
So right before the bus was about to leave, they played oh my goodness, it was not Dancing Queen. They played a song there that was not a folk dance. And it was probably the best 5 minutes of my whole life because there was just there was fear of me because the bus ride from the Garthianum to the castle took around 20 to 30 minutes, I believe.
Yeah, I
And
know.
yeah, if you missed it, there's no way you're getting there. So I had to run out of the night cafe in the middle of the song to run to the bus. But I have to say, it was worth it. Let me see if I can find the video.
Oh my God. I remember that I ran around, tried to organize the speaker for the night cafe. But I am happy that even though things were quite unorganized at some point, you had such a good time. That is very good to hear. And that especially this time was good for you. It's quite unexpected for me, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think actually that it is part of Filipino culture to just be happy to be able to celebrate whenever possible. We're a very lively community, and you could tell that from the performances from Acacia Waldorf School on the third
Definitely.
night. And that was a very good capsulation of our culture in a 5 minute dance. And I believe that during that night cafe, I felt that feeling again. Even though I had lost my voice, I was whispering on the fifth day because I couldn't say anything because my vocal cords were absolutely gone. So when I was running around asking people to sign my shirt, I was whispering. I went up to people. I was like this close to their face so I could speak to them.
Oh
And I was
yeah.
like, "Do you want to sign my shirt?" Because that's all. But it was awesome.
Of course, I have my perception of this whole conference where I put my heart into it. But in the end, until the end, I didn't know how it turned out, if people would like it and stuff like that. So thanks for sharing. And for me, it's amazing that the IC is like one huge story itself being made up from 750 individual stories, individual biographies, individual challenges, fears, motivations, and like coming together. And it is only 5 days. And it's also a crazy thought that we prepared like 12 months only for 5 days.
Mm.
But in the end, if you multiply 5 days with 750, I believe it comes to 3,750 days or so that
Mm.
people were living individually and making the experiences, and it is so totally worth it.
Oh,
Even
yes.
if just one of the participants achieved something or
Mm.
felt something, it is totally worth it. How did you like the questions of the days? For me, it was very important that we have questions of the days just as an offering. People could take it as an inspiration for working with the topic. And some took it, others did not, which is totally fine. But how was it for you?
Actively talk to someone about the question of the day during around one of the days. But for the rest of the days, I held those. Like I had those questions in my head as I had gone through the day. And I am not going to lie to you, I have forgotten some of them.
Me
Like
too.
Like it would be 2 seconds after they would announce it up on stage, and people would start getting up, and my mind would completely blank. But I would hear people talking about the questions later, and then it would come back to me, and then I would hold them in there and think about what I would answer to that particular question. But I did meet one person who was willing to talk to me about the question of the day. I think it was on the third day. Yeah, I think it was on the third day. Um, and that was a really nice experience.
The first question that I remember best is, in what sense does humankind experience disconnection in today's time? Aren't we more connected than ever? And I also remember it so well because people were not understanding it first.
Mm,
And also, I think they announced it wrong in the beginning, and then there was a bit of confusion. Um,
mm,
aren't we more connected than ever? Well, okay, what do they mean? Um, of course, it's closely connected to being connected in a digital world, but then
mm,
being disconnected in the real world. And I must say that it was a really good experience during the 5 days of the ISC regarding digital technology. I didn't have the
mm,
impression that people were sticking to their phone all the time. Also, I wasn't quite involved in all the processes. I feel like I was running around in the background a lot and couldn't perceive. I'm not the best person to ask how people were behaving during the days, actually.
mm.
But my impression is that phones weren't such a big deal, only maybe for exchanging contacts. Or what is your impression from it? Maybe it might be totally different.
Now, for context, I am someone who actually does spend a lot of time on my phone. But during the conference, I was so surprised with myself that I wasn't really on my phone a lot, to the point where it was an afternoon lecture and um there was lunch right before it, I believe, or a coffee break before it. And there was a point where I was in the hall, and then I realized that I didn't usually have my phone in my back pocket like I usually did for the rest of the days. And so it was 5 minutes before the lecture started, and I ran down the 2 flights of stairs and went out into the field to find that I had dropped my phone in the grass.
Wow. And you did
I
find,
found it because I went through my mind and I was like, when was the last time I took out my phone, and where could it possibly be? So it was just in the grass. And I was so surprised because I think that's the first time that's ever happened to me, because I'm someone who's very attached to it because I have a lot of long distance friendships and some online conversations that continue on for long stretches of time. And just not thinking about that for just 5 days was so refreshing to me. And it was great because I feel like the only thing that I regret about it was not pulling out my phone more to take more pictures, because the only time I really did take a lot of pictures was on the last day. But
Mhm.
it was so refreshing to just have just a digital break.
Nice to hear that it was actually a digital break because it was, if people were experiencing a break from digital experiences, it was totally voluntarily. Uh, we didn't set any restrictions to it except of no mobile phones in the main hall. There must have happened so much, like this little story with the earphone. So many funny stories that we all don't know. And
Yeah.
we will never know.
This little notebook here, I lost it as well on the third day. And I didn't find it because I kept forgetting to go to the lost and found. And
Mm.
I only got it when they spread out all of the lost and found on the first lecture of the last day. So I only have like a page or two that I've written in, and the rest of
Mhm.
it is all blank.
Still space for things to come.
Oh yes.
And you mentioned that you regret not taking a lot of photos, but we had some kind of professional photographers and their photos will come. It's only a matter of time. And it is crazy how much work is going on. And the people who took the photos also have other jobs, living in different countries. As professional as it might seem, hearing from what you said, this whole building and this construction, this place, the main hall, it is all just people doing their best.
Mm.
So the photos will arrive at the end of a IRC newsletter that is coming very soon. Do you have another of those stories that you experienced? Maybe for other listeners who also participated, this might be way more interesting than me talking again about anything.
Mm. Oh, okay. So a lot happened on the fourth day. And on the fourth night, when we got back to Mariastein, I so it's like a 10-minute walk, right? Like uphill first to where the stairs start. And where the stairs start, it really depends on how tired you are. It can take up to like 15 minutes to get to the top of the steps.
Oh,
From then, you have to go up to the castle and then up however many flights of stairs you need to go. Now, I was staying on the top floor of Mariastein, and I am very short. In Imperial, I am around 5'2", 5'3". In metric, I believe that's a little over 165. I I do not have that much energy in me as a very small person. So I reached up to the top of the ramp and I could not make it up the stairs. So this one guy in our accommodation, my friend Nicholas, he's German. He's from Turkey. He he was he was kind of like crouching over me, and he was like, "Do you want me to carry you up the stairs?"
cute.
Yeah, I had also the whole time at the conference, I had a bag with me and a 1 liter bottle of water. So he picked me up and I gave my bag over to other people who were also helping out from Japan and Canada, I believe. And as a team, they helped carry both me and all of my stuff up the steps to the floor of the accommodation. And I am so grateful for that because I don't know if I would have made it up there by myself.
Wow.
Because at that point, yeah, at that point, I think it was 11 p.m. or
Oh my
12.
God. Yeah, I tell you, we all feel sorry for this tight program and this little amount of sleep that we all could get.
Mm. Yeah.
Really.
But I told my friends who weren't able to attend that even if our days did stretch to well over 12, 14 hours, I was still happy about it. Because it's something that I told them this as well. It's something that I'm going to struggle to express for the rest of my life, is how precious of an experience this was for me. And that's saying a lot because I talk a lot as well. And I also do a lot of writing. So it's definitely a struggle for me to even just sit down and have the time to journal all of the things that happen because it's just so much of it. And that's
Mm.
not a bad thing. It's a very good thing. It's just very difficult to put what I felt into words that other people will understand.
Mm. Do you feel that the conference it started 4 weeks ago? This is a month, but for me, it actually feels shorter. From most of the
Mm.
people I talked to, it feels longer. They went back into your everyday life and just go straight in and then,
Yeah, I think it was it was very difficult for me to get back into the string of things because after I was in Dornak, I flew back to the Philippines actually for 10 days. And that in and of itself was also very nice, but that was not even close to the schedule that I had last week, which was school. So I spent 10 days there in the Philippines and then I went back to New Zealand and I was very jet lagged. I was very tired and I couldn't make it to school when that week came around. But
mm,
it felt like both the conference was yesterday and also 5 weeks ago, 5 months ago, because it in time doesn't feel like a lot. But because of the difference of how many people I saw then versus how many people I see now, it feels like I'm in a different time period when really it's just distance. Everyone feels disconnected because of the distance.
mm. Well, but Me too. I'm just so grateful for the experience, and it was as exciting for us as it was for you. I really love the idea with what we ended the conference in the main hall. You remember when someone was blowing bubbles into the ceiling of the main hall?
Hmm.
And Nathaniel just got up on stage and said, "Hey, maybe this might not be the best idea because this is watercolors." And it
Yeah.
was so cheerful and also so energized that people were talking about the ISC 2026 and that people were talking about the Earthling conference and not the students' conference anymore, which was such a beautiful feeling.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I still
And
have
this
mine,
is,
actually.
oh, nice. You have it. Great.
Yes. I wanted to put it in my carry-on, but I didn't want to risk it.
Nice. I want to thank you, Charlie, for being on the podcast. Really, thanks a lot for sharing your experiences.
Thank you so much for having me, Noel. I'm so grateful that I was able to experience it.
And
Thank you for all of your hard work.
have a good day. Mine's starting just now. And hopefully carry this all in good memories.
Oh, yes.
And
Yes, of course. Bye bye.